2 different theme park resorts, one big family trip, and all the details are here in this episode of Castle Talk Radio.
You're listening to Castle Talk Radio. We're live on the airwaves with Becca and Jessica. Now let's jump into this week's episode.
This week, we are back with Ashley, who just recently went to Walt Disney World and Epic Universe with her large family group. Last week, we talked about how she used points and miles to get to Orlando and stay for free. But now, let's get into their experiences in the park with a large group.
Let's talk about the highlights of your trip. Give me some of those moments that really stood out to you or special things that is just now become one of those core memories.
So I know you guys mostly focus on Disney, but for us, I think our whole family, the highlight park-wise was Epic Universe. That park is spectacular. I mean, it was our last park, and I was kind of worried about going into it. Wait times seemed a little crazy. We decided not to move to a Universal hotel. So we didn't have early entry. Universal hotels will give you early entry to all of their parks automatically. But I decided it wasn't worth it because some of them give express passes with your hotel, but they won't do it for Epic Universe. It's only the other two parks.
Yeah, this time. We'll see.
And then kind of looking at crowd calendars, it looked like it wasn't supposed to be too busy when we were there. And then kind of the last little bit, so we decided not to do express passes because it's expensive. It's like more than your actual ticket, basically. And for a family of 5, that's a lot. So we kind of decided not to. And then getting closer to the day, it looked like it was getting busier. So I started to panic. But luckily for me, express passes were already sold out, so I couldn't do that.
Tempt you.
And I'm glad that I didn't because I mean, it would have been nice if you can do it, but it wasn't necessary, I would say.
It didn't ruin your trip by any means. This is your favorite part out of the whole experience.
Yeah, but there were, the park is really beautiful. And then there was 2 things for me. The Isle of Berk, which is the How to Train Your Dragon land, walking in there was just like jaw-dropping. Like the land is beautiful. We went on the roller coaster. It was super fun. The show wasn't running, which that was a bummer for me. But that land, and then the other like most spectacular moment, which we love Harry Potter, and walking the line, walking into the Ministry of Magic for that ride was like, I felt like I was in the movie. My husband just watched number 7, the last one, and they show the ministry in the movie, and he was like, I went there. It looks exactly like the movie. And the rest of our family are not Harry Potter people, and they were asking me all these questions. What is this? Where is, I think everybody thought it was like spectacular, Everybody thought it was so cool. At the Disney parks, we really loved Tron. We thought that was super fun.
Wait, I didn't even ask you yet. Did you convince your one kid who was on the fence on Tron? Did he end up going on it?
No.
Okay. So everyone who went on it did like it, though?
So my 5-year-old doesn't like roller coasters or anything scary, right? He's just not really good at roller coasters. He did do Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and I sat with him, and he was like terrified the whole time. And he says it was fun, but he didn't want to do it again. So he's not really a big ride person. There were some wins with him, though, because Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, the past has kind of scared him, and he liked that. So, things like that. I felt like we made progress with him, but he is only 5. My middle one is usually my bravest, and he chickened out on Tron. And I think it's because he watched a million videos beforehand on Disney World, and he knew the exact miles per hour that the roller coasters went. So after we rode Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and we're going to Tron, he said, Mom, Tron goes this many miles per hour, and I just did Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and that only goes this miles per hour, and that felt really fast to me. So
that is hilarious.
He chickened out. So it was just Zach and I. And
So he was
Stephen, the
doing
old,
his own research too. You know, you were doing the miles, you were booking all the things, and he was like, I need to know how fast this goes.
yeah, my kids watched a ton of YouTube videos before we went. Like, they
That's
just
so
were
cool.
so excited because they got this as their Christmas present. And then it was like 2 months before we went. So it was like a slow build up, you know?
Yeah, I love that like element of surprising the kids with a trip, but doing it far enough in advance that they can be a part of the process and build that anticipation as well. So I think you did it right.
Yeah. And we kind of we tried to pick the end of February where it was like a slower time, right?
Hmm.
It's before the spring break really picks up. It's not the holidays where it's super busy. It was kind of a slower time.
Yeah, and you did mention crowd calendars, and that's always a hot topic. Um, you were going to go at that time anyways, right? Like that
Mm-hmm.
was what worked for you guys. And I think that is a key thing with crowd calendars is that you use it as a part of your resources, but it's not your only resource. Crowd calendars are in more recent history just not accurate. They're not able to predict things as good as they were because of dated tickets, reservations, and so many different things. But you can use that as part of your strategy, a part of your planning, but don't make everything revolve around it because like you said, it started to show that it was getting busier and that, you know, up the stress level a little bit, but everything still turned out so great. And we're going to keep getting into some more of it, but I want to know just really quick best meal, snack, or treat, anything that you had in any park stand out. I know we were kind of lackluster just even planning it together. We were talking about.
Yeah, we didn't really do much of that. I mean, Epic Universe, the boys and I got butterbeers. They got frozen ones. I got a hot one. Don't bother with the room temperature one. But we've had those before, so we kind of knew. We did eat at the pizza place. So if you know my husband, he makes us pack at least one meal to eat at the parks. So
Good
we
for
ate breakfast
him.
before we came, and then we had like PB&Js or Lunchables or things. We had a little fridge in our room, so we just did a grocery delivery, and we had snacks and stuff to eat throughout, cheese and crackers or whatever to eat for lunch, just to kind of save money. It can be expensive. And then my family aren't really foodies, so we
You weren't
didn't
like
really.
planning around like this restaurant or that dining
Yeah.
experience.
So and we talked about this, my kids are really picky eaters. And so when I was looking at like the sit down dining options, they were expensive for kids who weren't going to eat any of it. Right. So we decided that that wasn't an experience that we needed
Mm-hmm.
to do just because we were more focused on riding rides and doing all the things. So um, I would say for me, I can't even remember where we ate. um, like the treat, we love the butterbeer. It was great. And then we ate at Pizza Moon in Epic Universe for dinner that night. It was like a wood fired pizza place, and I thought it was really good.
Nice. Okay, so I sent you some questions over before, but I'm going to go a little bit off script and talk about how did you decide which parks to visit? Because you did two Disney parks and one Universal park, and there are so many choices. We talked about hotels, but there are multiple Walt Disney World parks and multiple Universal parks, and this was your kid's first time. So tell us how you navigated that.
That was really hard, like really hard. And I kept going back and forth. So we kind of knew that we wanted to hit Magic Kingdom. And people told me, well, that's like the most similar to Disneyland. Why are you doing it? And I didn't really have a good answer for them. More so just that that was one of the experiences we wanted to have, even though they do have a lot of the same rides. They have a lot of different rides. But I just feel like that's kind of an integral part of the Disney World experience,
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
So we kind of always knew that. And then we really went back and forth between doing Hollywood Studios and the Animal Kingdom. And my sister in law really helped me plan this whole trip because she helped coordinate all the extended family. She did a lot of the legwork too. So we kind of went back and forth. And then just eventually ended up, I asked other people, what would you do? A lot of them said Animal Kingdom.
Mhm.
But when my kids found out about the trip and then started watching videos, their preference became Hollywood Studios.
Okay, great.
So, kind of our reasoning behind that was right before we were supposed to go, Animal Kingdom was shutting down their dinosaur section, their dinosaur ride, um, which kind of leaves not very as much to do, in our opinion, or not as much to do that my kids are interested. I have three boys. The shows are not their cup of tea.
Okay.
Right? I did tell them going in, we're going to be doing shows. That's part of the experience, like just to prep them. And we did do some. But I kind of, when looking at it, the rides, they really wanted to see Toy Story Land.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of why we ended up doing Hollywood Studios. And then some of our family did Animal Kingdom the day that we left on Wednesday. So
Okay.
they did a half day at Animal Kingdom that morning, but we just decided it wasn't worth the cost for a half day. Before flying out, we would have to pack up, be up early. It was a lot of stress. So
Yeah.
we just kind of decided not to do it. We would like to go back. Originally, my kids thought Epcot looked really boring, but then they kind of looked at more. It looks like fun. So hopefully someday we can go back. With
Yeah.
the Universal parks, my kids have been, since Epic was announced and that they were doing a Donkey Kong Land,
Mm-hmm.
my kids have just been watching that the whole time it was being built. So
Cool.
my kids would have rioted if we went and didn't go there.
That is so good. I really like that you included them in this because if they hadn't been watching, if they hadn't had a say, it could have looked like a totally different trip. And not that they wouldn't have enjoyed it, it just would have looked different. So we've gone through like a lot of different things. Tell me though, how did this trip compare to your frequent visits to the Disneyland Resort? And you've also frequented Universal Studios Hollywood. So how did this compare?
Yeah, so we've had passes to Disneyland, we've had passes to Universal Hollywood. This was more of like a whole trip experience, right? Because we're only an hour from Disneyland. So when we go to Disneyland, sometimes we'll stay a night as like a little staycation, but often it's we get up early in the morning, we go to Disneyland, we drive home that night. So it's, or not even night. When we had passes, sometimes you just go like a couple hours, right?
Right.
So for us, Disneyland and has kind of become just like a, I don't know how to say it, like a little day trip or whatever. Like this
Mhm.
was like a big vacation, right? And it feels more of like a whole experience, right? There's
Great.
more there's more parks. It's really spread out. It's just different. It just feels really different to me.
That's so cool. Well, I'm so glad that we got to talk about it and recap it a little bit. Orlando has so much going on. They have Walt Disney World Resort, Universal, they have Legoland, and so many other things. We would love to help you plan your trip with our partners at getawaytoday.com/castle talk, or you can give them a call at 855 getaway and let them know that we sent you at Castle Talk Radio. They have amazing customer service agents there who have been to the parks, do all the things, and have their firsthand recommendations as well. Now, if you found this episode helpful, I would love it if you would subscribe, leave a review, or share it with a friend who's planning their trip or even just daydreaming about it. Thanks for listening to Castle Talk Radio, and we'll see you again soon.
You've been listening to Castle Talk Radio. For exclusive discounts on tickets and hotels, free guides, and to listen to past episodes, visit castletalkradio.com. Be sure to tune in next week for more Castle Talk with Becca and Jessica.